So, rewatching this particular episode, I was reminded of the fact that some way, somehow, we need to get those green macaroons, Oreos, whatever type of cookie or biscuit that is. We need to make those a real thing, and we need that now because they look really, really good and really, really delicious. That's all I'm saying. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Daniel Strung from QuickTime Reactions, and you find me on my way to The Mandalorian and Grogu, where I'm going to be reviewing all the episodes of The Mandalorian, seasons 1 through season 3, and also the Book of Boba Fett as well. And we are here to talk about season 2, episode 4, aka chapter 12, The Siege. This is actually the first episode in this season where you might think that this might be an odd choice for a director. But, as we'll come to find out, this was actually a really well-directed episode. This is directed by none other than Mr. Grief Karga himself, Carlweathers. He directed this episode, and it was also written by jonfavreau. Because of his ship being in not the best condition, Mando has to journey back to Navarro to get it fixed. While there, Grief and Kara mention to him that there is still an Imperial base on Navarro that needs to be dealt with. So, while the ship is being fixed, the gang gets back together to do one last job to get Navarro in a better spot. Will they be able to do it? We'll see. So, yes, after, the fact of his ship being held together with, twine and a wish, he has to make it back to Navarro to get it, fully repaired. I also do like the opening scene where Mando's like, put the red wire where the blue wire used to be, and he's telling the child who's inside, because he's small enough to fit in that compartment, to where to place the wires. I really liked that. We also see what now Marshall Cara Dune is up to as she stops a band of thieves. I forget what race these creatures are, but basically stop these band of thieves from making away with a whole lot of credits. And this is where I have to give credit to Carlweathers, the late Carlweathers, unfortunately, which, side note, I do hope we get at least a little bit of a tribute to him in the movie, at least, hopefully. Because he was an integral part of the show, not just in front of the camera, but, like I said, he directed this episode, and I think he might direct an episode in Season 3. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll find that out once we get to Season 3. So I hope there is a tribute for him in the movie at some point, anyway. But back to the episode. He makes it back to Navarro, the Mandalorian. Oh, before that, my original thought. Carlweathers, his direction in this is really good. Like, the Cara Dune fight in what used to be where the armorer used to be, he shot that really well. It was really, really well done action. And especially when we get to the end chase that happens in the episode, also really good stuff as well. So yes, Mando makes it back to Navarro, and Grief and Kara kind of tell him what's going on in the town. In the background, in the square area, you get to see a statue of IG-88. which I thought was also a really nice touch as well. And they dropped the kid off at what used to be the the bar slash like guild area from season 1. That's now been transformed into a school, and this is where we get our first sight of the cookies, macaroons, whatever you want to call them. And like I said, they look delicious, and I want them in real life now. So they get back to Grief's office, where the Mithril, from all the way back at the very first episode, the one guy that Mando brought in that very first episode, the character played by Horatio Sands, who I believe is a comedian. He is actually working front desk because, well, it's either serve your time in Carbonite or serve your time working for, the local government. And so I would rather choose that than being in Carbonite. That's all I'm saying. But they brief Mando on what's going on with this Imperial base. And, well, since he's not going to be there for a while, he might as well do it. And so they get there. And, of course, there's problems with the door because, again, Navarro is a lava planet. So, yeah, the comms are going, or the controls, I should say, are going to be a little bit not working. So Mando decides to go all the way up to the top, take care of a couple of stormtroopers, and get the door open from the top to get the rest of the crew up there, which does include the Mithril, who was driving the speeder on the way there. They eventually make their way through the base, picking off stormtroopers, and they get to where what they call the heating vent or the heating coil of the base, because if they disable that, the whole base is just going to explode and erupt like a volcano. So they send the Mithril out, and I love this. Horatio Sands delivers this so perfectly. He's like, there are no guardrails here. And I'm like, yeah, the Empire is, very, very much known for it being non-OSHA compliant. No handrails. Specifically, I'll talk about this when we get to the last episode this season, where it's just like, there's one spot where there's just literally like a walkway, no handrails, and it just leads to an abyss, which I find absolutely hysterical. But anyway, I'll get more on that in the last episode. I think it's the last episode. But yeah, they make their way to that heating coil, and the Mithril disables it, and basically they now have 10 minutes to get out of there. So they're taking care of more stormtroopers, and then they get to this area where two guys are scrambling. One is saying, like, purge the drives, and then the crew walks in, they kill off both of those techs, and they slowly but surely realize that this looks like a cloning place. You see all these, like, creatures. I'm going to call them creatures because I don't know what else to call them. You see all these creatures in, like, I don't want to call them vials either because they're not vials, but in these, like, glass containers. And then the Mithril pulls up a message from Dr. Pershing, who says, I wasn't able to get enough blood from our donor, and once the blood entered the body, they just rejected it, and then so we may have to find someone with a higher M count. Now, for those that don't know, and actually I was able to pick up on this even back when I watched this for the first time, M count is meant for midichlorians, which I know everyone loved to hear all the way back in The Phantom Menace when Qui-Gon spoke about that. So I just found it absolutely hysterical that they somehow brought it back around into sounding, kind of cool in this show. So I found that a little bit funny. But Dr. Pershing also goes on to say that he was only able to get so much blood out of the child without killing it before, Mando took it away in season 1. And so, you know, and then basically he ends the message off by saying, "I won't fail you again, Moff Gideon." And Mando's like, "Moff Gideon's dead, so this has to be an old message, right?" And the Mythrol says, "Nope, this was recorded 3 days ago." And they all come to the collective realization that if Moff Gideon's alive, then they need to get back to the kid ASAP. So more stormtroopers come in, and they're starting to clear house of all of them. Mando is eventually able to use his jetpack to sail out, and Cara picks up I don't know what, I think they said the name of the vehicle in the episode, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. But she picks up one of the old Imperial transports that were left on that base, and everyone else gets on, and then a speed bike chase ensues. Greef is manning guns and is able to take out one on the speeder bike. Cara crushes one other stormtrooper up against the rock wall, and then Greef shoots the other one who had I think it's a thermal detonator, if I remember my weapons from Star Wars Battlefront correctly. I think he was holding a thermal detonator. But then, of course, as the base explodes, there's a couple of TIE fighters on their way. And Greef is able to take out one of them, but the falling debris from that TIE fighter ends up getting the guns jammed, and so they're in a bit of a pickle. But then, in, something of a divine miracle, as it were, the Razor Crest comes into view. It is fully repaired, and Mando and the child, with his cookies, of course, are there to destroy the rest of the TIE fighters. And to add a little bit of button of comedy, the child who has been eating said cookies, macaroons, whatever you want to call them, hurls them up after performing several barrel rolls, and even him holding his hands up like, "Wee, this is fun!" He throws up said cookies. And so Mando is now on his way to Corvus with a fully repaired ship, and everything seems hunky-dory. But, of course, not everything is hunky-dory. We'll get to that in a little bit. But first, the New Republic comes by, and we get to see Carson Teva again. And he's talking with Greef about what happened on the base, and saying, what about the Razor Crest? And Greef's like, "I didn't see a Razor Crest here." And Teva's like, "Well, your logs show," and it's like, my guy can't recognize anything pre-Empire. Come on now. There was no Razor Crest here. And so Greef is able to get away with saying that there was not a Razor Crest on the planet. And then Teva has a nice little conversation with Cara Dune, saying, "You've done a really good job cleaning up the place, but we could really use one of you guys on our side." And Cara isn't at all interested. And then, of course, delving into more of her past, because she was on Alderaan. Teva served during Alderaan. And he's like, "Did you lose anyone?" And Cara's like, "I lost everyone." And Teva's like, "I'm sorry to hear that." And he leaves the New Republic sigil on a table and just leaves it at that. Now, I can't remember exactly, but this was either like right as or relatively before like all the stuff about ginacarano and Disney came out, because my memory serves me correctly, she is not in season 3, and I sincerely doubt that she will be in this upcoming movie. So I kind of like saw this as like, okay, this is their way of writing her out of the series, essentially. But I do believe she is in more episodes this season. So, but I just saw that, with hindsight, it's like, oh, okay, so that's definitely like their way out of writing her character into like upcoming plans, essentially. But then we cut to an Imperial ship where an officer, who, by the way, is played by the amazing actress Katie O'Brien. You might recognize her from probably the most high-profile thing that she's done is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, where she was a member of the rebellion army going up against Kang's forces. I'm trying to remember what else. I believe, yeah, she was in Twisters as well. Part of Glenn Powell's crew. I'm trying to remember what else she was in. Oh, she was also in Running Man, the one with Glenn Powell, which I talked about on the channel. So she's been in a lot of stuff, and I've loved her in every single thing that she's been. But this is her first appearance in the show, and it's going to be far from the last. And she's in conversation with one of the people that repaired Mando's ship, and saying that there is a tracker on the Razor Crest. We're going to put a pin in that, and we're going to revisit that in a later episode. And then she goes over to a still alive Moff Gideon, of course, Giancarlo Esposito, saying tracker's on the ship, and we've confirmed with the source that he still has the asset. As Moff Gideon is looking at a bunch of rows of dark troopers. Now, again, this is another thing that, went over my head. But after seeing them, and we'll get to talk about them later on this season, the Dark Troopers are cool. They are really, really cool, and they're really, really awesome. And I love the fact that we end on just that foreboding shot of all of those Dark Troopers. It's so cool. So there you have it. That is my review slash recap of The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 4. We are now officially at the halfway point of Season 2, and we are getting close to the halfway point in my journey. But these next 4 episodes of this season, ooh, boy, we're going to get into some fun stuff. But until then, be safe out there, and remember, always grab a companion for you. On the road, you never know, you might be led onto a new path, a new way, shall we say, and it may change your life for the better. I'll catch you guys next time.